You're in my way.
Harvey.
Everyone left in a hurry.
Aha, look, there's one of the new ones, but loss of Calvin Rafferty. Thomas and Liam Rafferty emigrated to Boston from Ireland at the turn of the century, seeking a new life in the land of opportunity. Before long, that new life arrived in the form of a son, Calvin. Although times were tough, the young family was happy. Thomas, the labourer, worked on the railways, leaving Liam at home to care for the child for days at a time. Calvin was a curious boy, quiet but resilient. When his mother collapsed in a small alleyway behind their three-decker, he watched wordlessly as the neighbours tried to revive her, but there was nothing to be done. Wow. That's fucked up. And when his father, seething with hopeless fury at the senseless of it all, the resentment for a young boy who did nothing, and the guilt of that resentment for the boy, he knew deserved no such blame. When that misbegotten father fled, fearing the poison of his grief, bequeathing his only child to the land of opportunity, Calvin endured alone, quiet but resilient. Damn, that's really fucked up. I can't help but wonder, was this always to be his life? How many paths could he have walked were they not closed off by the tendrils of fate? Did it only change after the dream? Or does it take losing a mother for a man to swear never to lose someone else?
Who wrote this? And how? Down we go. Wrote this.
And we're back.
And how? Some of that I didn't even know.
How could you not know it? It was your own life. Not gonna waste time with all of that.
Some creep been watching Faye? What does he want?
Is that new? Hold on. I admire Miss Bennet for a woman of such privilege. She had an uncommon understanding of the world around her. Born to an upper-class family whose presence at theatres, fundraisers and foundations was always assured. There was every reason to expect she would live a pedestrian life, but Faye was also blessed with high intellect and low patience, and soon made a name for herself upsetting the gentry. She knew she wanted more, and sought it. Faye found herself welcomed in the halls of academia, for she was a woman who didn't so much enter a room as arrive, and far be it for her dean to tell her to such stature that she wasn't technically enrolled there. She dabbled in anything that took her fancy, history, archaeology, the sciences, and spent her nights debating the universe with the staff. There was a thrill to showing up those ill-formed men, with whom comment posed ever so politely. It was only natural then for the fascination to curdle, and the ego to grow. It was not enough to merely read about these things. She wanted to experience it, to get hands-on with the dark and the dangerous, to scrabble around in the dirt and feel something real. And then Faye met a man who would help her do just that. A man who would catalyse her impulses and embrace them, embrace her. Theirs was not so much a relationship as a chemical reaction. A runaway process that only ends in explosion. I saw the end from the beginning. Well, I never. And here we have the third Ex Oblivione document, The Burden of Knowledge. Harrington the Grand Demange knew that there was a power in language. A natural polyglot, he was born in France but quickly drawn elsewhere. By 20 he was fluent in a dozen languages, by 25 he doubled that. He made his way acting as a translator, working with traders to establish foreign outposts and diplomats seeking to stabilise nations. If every new tongue learned, his desire remained unsated. Harrington grew convinced that the universe spoke too, and that the only thing preventing our understanding was the limitations of our language. He turned to the forbidden apocrypha that represented humanity's best efforts to document our bilious reality. And there he finally met his match. The books contained dizzying runes and irregular and asymmetric sentences that careened across the page. Words without grammar, or tense, or gender, or meaning at all. Stymied but no less motivated Harrington had to proceed, and it seemed that the universe answered. At that moment the sliver arrived, and he recognised at once the opportunity that clawed beneath his feet, yet as the worms expanded his mind, they too sowed his downfall. The sliver required regular sustenance of dead flesh, but were picky in their preferences. The siren didn't last long, and the flood forced him from Akrham, So it was that the infection spread, the dead flesh behind his eyes expanding as the worms burrowed deep in search of food. Carrington grew desperate and erratic as his mind deteriorated. His speech slurred, faculties slowed. The erudite man became a scuttling beast, golden-haired, dirty with blood and filth, and the language he spoke was violence.
I haven't even given him the siren yet. It's written like this already happened.
This is just going to be like right here in the linen storage in the basement of the Devil's Reef Hotel, and it gives good information or good intel on what happens to the guy in here that we're getting the siren for. Very interesting tidbits of lore. Yeah, see you guys in the next one. And here we are for the fourth one of the Ex Oblivione documents, the pursuit of the unknown. Few things compel a man to action like a good question. For Faye and Calvin, empowered by their invincibility at their 20s, that meant exploring the dark fringes of reality. When polite company tells you that you shouldn't, some people hear as a challenge. Together, the couple saw fabled relics and forgotten ruins, running headlong toward answers. As always happens, the more they learned, the more they wanted to know. Sometimes they travelled beyond Akrham, but the city was itself home to a surprising number of oddities and held plenty to explore within its limits. They had scrapes of course and runs with unsavoury types, but every near miss just reinforced their invulnerability. It wouldn't last. I recognised myself in Faye and Calvin. I knew the drive for the truth and where that path led, as I watched them repeat their mistake a second time to shake them from their arrogance, their complacency. The parallels were obvious, pointed even. So be it, they would soon know my pain. I convulsed from every atom disintegrates, for even gods can be helpless. Right here on the table, the very beginning of the Akeley Hospital map. I'll see you guys at the next one. Here we are with the fifth Ex Oblivione document, the view from outside. The dreams haunted by this love from a young age, whispers, ideas, visions of places beyond comprehension. He wrote them down in the journal every morning when he woke, much like I did. Even as a child it was clear. Thaddeus was a genius both from his preternatural learning speed and brusque cadence. The visions of intellect alone would have been enough to set him apart from others, but of course it was also the colour of his skin, and so most of his life he felt alone. Even as undeniable abilities opened some doors and became an accomplished surgeon, the dreams persisted. He learnt at source the Migo, who had arrived on Earth millennia ago and lay buried in suspended animation beneath Akeley Memorial Hospital. The Migo whispered impossible ideas in Thaddeus' mind, inventions and revelations beyond his time, and Thaddeus at last felt respected, seen. When the Migo asked to be freed, it was already a fait accompli. Thaddeus was going up with its voice in his head and trusted implicitly. Indeed, some of his insight had already advanced his research to astounding new frontiers. When Thaddeus finally laid eyes on the being that had been his one constant companion, he was unafraid. I told him what lay beyond our world and promised that one day when it left this planet it would show him too. Perhaps it was naive for me to think that the creature had affection for the man, or knew of love as humans loved, or that the man said all he was given up. But when the Migo eventually left the ruins of Akrham, it was not alone. Thaddeus Lowe saw the stars.
Whoever wrote that knows things he shouldn't know.
You think he's been watching us?
I think he's been watching everyone.
So right here in the hospital grounds for the Caduceus door, right here, that is where you get the fifth Ex Oblivione document. And I'll see you guys at the next one. Bye for now. Or, not bye for now, but see ya. Here is the sixth Ex Oblivione document in the fish market. It's right after you get the first jar, jump down here, and it's right here, the month of Invention. Maisie Orne held her head high, at least when she existed. She was a natural on the ocean, joining fishing boats as a teen and demonstrating a proficiency at rival men 30 years her senior. She was the adoptive daughter of the fish market, beloved by both those who peddled their wares there and those who bought them. She was born with the Innsmouth condition, which her mother Jessamine bore no blame, and when adulthood that distinctive look appeared. Maisie shrugged it off. She was a practical woman with clarity of thought and business ambitions. If anything, it helped their reputation. She took the name they called it and made it her own, and then there was nothing left to say. She had friends to show some respect, but there was one man in particular, Freddy, with whom she shared a special connection. She made him laugh and he was the brother she never had. But he was a musician, which to her seemed a form of magic. He sang of the sea and the sea ran through her blood, so I felt as if he sang of her. In times of anguish or difficulty when their walls were up and no man would dare step foot in their quarters, it was Freddy whose words would reach her. When he passed, it was sudden. They had 30 years of each other's company. An eon, a blink, she knew better than to change it. Besides, Ma could tell where the winds were blowing. She felt the pull of the ocean, a stirring in her core that nothing could quell. To resist would take all her power. It was a bravery I did not possess. She cast the wall, set the chains, and barricaded herself against the world. But love, of course, got in. Well,
does music have that much power?
When performed by the right person, yes.
Well, guys, I'll see you at the 7th Oblivion document. See you later. Alright, so here's the 7th Oblivion document. The beauty of Marvel. Worlds bled into her dreams in Technicolor. Faye tore through opalescent skies and amaranth fields with sunlight in her hair and awoke glowing. Gens from other places changed her, though she would not know it until much later. It made her powerful but also vulnerable. It drew attention. Calvin was special too, though in the ordinary way of men. He had the steady certainty of his quest to cling to, and the resilience to persist in the face of horrors few could stomach. There was no decision to be made, no hint of doubt as to his purpose. He was scrappy and lean and fought like a wounded animal. His eye was made, they were equals and they could be happy as such. There's a moment I cannot watch, right before the end when they consider turning back. They have life together, they have blessings beyond count, they have courage, intellect and money. They have power and dreams and so much more. Do you not understand it is enough? Imperfect, yes, but man has built civilizations on imperfect. It is enough to merely survive. I write to them, I skim with them through the glass, they pick up my letter and discuss it and then keep going anyway.
He wants us to stop.
Yeah, I got that.
You don't trust it?
If there's one thing I've learned, it's that there's always a catch with a magic text. The dreaming ritual, the call to resurrect you.
This feels different.
Not to me.
Well, I'll see you guys at the last and final Ex Oblivion document. Bye for now. Here we are, the final Ex Oblivion document. In the 4th map, right next to the portal. Right here, the son of Cthylla. Charles Reed was born in Boston. He never felt at home there. He had 2 older brothers, but he spent more time with each other than with him, even if Matt asked. When the Great War began, Charles wanted us up to the 10th one listed, and that was that. There were tears and goodbyes, and he was too young to really understand why. He was a diver in the Navy, but his ship sank, the irony of which was not lost on him. Didn't know there was that ordeal on the island, and the visions and unexpected rescue. Seemed like a blessing at the time. But of course, the gods laugh at man's arrogance. When the dreams proved too potent and the drugs too weak, he set off for Oakmont, which held the answers. In the end, though, I, was faced with a choice to prolong the world's misery or flee from the problem or end it all. I chose absolution, and as she took me in an embrace and the flesh melted from my bones, I splintered, falling through prismatic, flickering spaces of hideous geometry. Through all temperatures and all elements, within and without of existence, as mad tore us apart and pain bound me together, until I was hers. I watched her claim the world and knew it was to be right. I watched Yog-Sothoth claim his world and knew it to be right. I watched the crawling chaos loom and knew it to be right.
He was a man once.
And he made the wrong choice.
Did he have one? Do we?
Yes.
Why are you so sure?
Because I have to be, Faye. It's what got us this far, and what will get us out.
I don't think so. But we'll see. And with that chat, I mean, that's the end, right? We have all the Ex Oblivion documents, and we have every achievement in the game. And with that, guys, hope this helped you guys out. If you enjoyed the video, watching us on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe, it really helps a lot. Follow on Twitch would help even more. But regardless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next series. Bye for now.